You probably know REDMAGIC for their gaming phones with futuristic designs, but this is something different. Here we have REDMAGIC's new gaming laptop, along with the user guide that I will probably never read, and just underneath its massive 280 charger. Removing the plastic from a product is always satisfying, and this one in particular feels great. On the back we have rubber feet to prevent slipping, and as you might guess, I had to open it up, which was easy until I got to this screw. Anyway, I managed, and inside I was surprised by how neat and organized everything is, allowing for RAM upgrades as well as easy storage expansion. After checking the exterior, I had to open it up, power it on, and start setting it up from scratch, which always takes a bit of time. I've been using it for a few days, and I must say that my opinion about this laptop is a little bit mixed. In terms of its build, I like the texture finish, as well as the logo that lights up while in use, or the REDMAGIC logo that changes depending on the viewing angle, though it does show fingerprint as well. You can open it up with only one hand, and it has a full keyboard with RGB lighting and a rather unique font. Tapping on this keyboard isn't bad, but honestly I would have preferred it without the numeric keypad. Because of that, they placed the trackpad on the left right below the spacebar. Even so, the trackpad is quite precise and large enough for some gestures. Another interesting detail is the screen, which in this case is 16 inches with a 2.5K resolution. It's fantastic for content consumption, but even better for gaming as it reaches 240 Hz refresh rate. You won't fully take advantage of all this only in games like League of Legends, of Counter-Strike, but even though, like when you're navigating through the system or even website, your experience will be a little bit better. And when it comes to port, we have a USB-A and SD card reader on the left, another USB-A and the jack audio on the right, and on the back, Ethernet, USB-A, HDMI, USB-C, and the charging port. Overall, this isn't a bad laptop, but isn't what I expected REDMAGIC to do, especially when it costs $1,700. Aside from the RGB logos, this laptop resembles a Clevo chassis with a few tweaks. Yes, the screen is great, it has a webcam compatible with Windows Hello, and as I will show you shortly, its performance is solid. But then, it only comes with 16GB of RAM and the 4060, a graphics card that you can already find on laptops that cost $1,000. The big difference lies in its CPU, the Intel i9-14900, that it's a powerful processor, but it also consumes much more battery power, and it's affected by the stability issue that we have seen this year. That's why I think it would have been better to save on this and include a better GPU. At the end of the day, we're talking about a gaming laptop, and considering REDMAGIC does this on this phone, it should have been their priority. And anyway, if you're still gonna use it only for gaming, this is quite decent. In games like Overwatch 2, I get an average of 214 frames per second with settings on high and full HD. In Trackmania, which isn't also very demanding, it maintains around 150. With Baldur's Gate 3, it exceeds 60 frames per second, though there are occasional drops. With Cyberpunk, it's similar unless you enable DLSS, as doing so nearly doubles these values. Finally, with the new Black Myth Wukong, I got an average of 86 frames per second, and with DLSS set to balance, it reaches 103. This is a laptop built for gaming, and you can feel it instantly when pushed to its limits. In light tasks, the fans are quiet, but during gaming or heavy programs, they become quite audible. And with such large vents, it's advisable to use it with a stand to improve cooling. You can also use it for work, but in terms of portability, I think many would prefer, slightly lighter options. Not to mention that when you transport it, you will likely end up carrying the charger, and combined, well, both of them weighed over 3 kilograms. Or in America, 6.6 pounds. I wouldn't have an issue with the price if it had some good extras like 32GB of RAM, an OLED screen, or an even better battery life. And given what REDMAGIC is capable of doing with their phones, giving us the best performance that we can have at a low price, I have to say that this laptop was quite a disappointment. If it were $1,200 or even $1,300, my opinion would be so much different. But at this price point, you can already find, other alternatives with similar specs and even better graphics card. In my opinion, the biggest mistake REDMAGIC did was prioritizing the CPU over the GPU, something that would have given us much better results. And at this price range, at least 32GB of RAM would have been, expected. Anyway, it was a little disappointment, and for this price range, it's hard to recommend. Maybe over time, it will go down, but right now, Anyway, this is just my opinion, and if you have a different one or a question, you can leave it in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, ciao!